So we are here at the 2012 Zeitgeist Media Festival with Steve Robertson. So Steve, can you please share with us what brought you here today?
Peter did. Peter's important work. I saw the Zeitgeist film. I was just intellectually I was blown away, and spiritually my heart was just cracked wide open. And we met last year at the Zeitgeist Media Festival, became quick friends. We were leading towards producing this peace concert in the Middle East in Christmas. Peter generously spent his time to produce a couple of 2-minute video shorts, one of which we showed here tonight, on really showing the parallel between the great spiritual teachings, how they're the same. Lao Tzu, Krishna, Muhammad, Confucius, Jesus, they're all the same message, be loving.
And what is the kind of work that you do that correlates with this type of Zeitgeist Media Festival?
Well, I'm the president and CEO of ProjectPeaceOnEarth, where we are producing a series of annual global peace concerts, utilizing sacred music, broadcasting them from various sacred sites on the planet, and reaching several 100 million people, and hopefully using sacred music to uplift consciousness and at the same time raise money to heal various social issues which are impacting the world and children, children and women.
And why is this type of event important for artists and for the community?
I think without question, on our board we have literally a who's who of people in TV, film, music, and without question, Peter is at the very cutting edge of galvanizing and connecting, galvanizing these momentous, monumental questions that we have about the meaning of life and purpose, and understanding the deeper esoteric meaning of why greed is driving the world, and what we can really do as human beings to evolve ourselves to be more loving and kind, first with ourselves, and then with other people. I fundamentally believe, if we can't get humanity to hear the cry of a small little girl who's been raped and had her arm lopped off with a machete just because she's of the wrong tribe, there's no way you're going to get humanity to hear the cry of a tree being cut down with a chainsaw, even though it may represent the metaphorical philia of the lungs of Mother Earth. And this fundamental paradigm of I have the right God and you don't, and I'm good and you're bad, and I'm righteous and you're evil, has been at the root cause of the most horrible things on the planet. Once you have someone designated as evil, you can go into the village as a man, rape women, kill babies, burn the village down, and then go home and sleep like a baby because God said it was okay. And this is just fundamentally nuts. So, the goal of our event is we hope the following day, unlike other events like Live Aid, G8 Summit, Live Earth, where they're just using standard, high-profile musicians to sing songs lyrically and compositionally that don't relate to these issues, the root cause of these issues whatsoever, is that we use really music of the spheres, the most highly acclimated, highly aware musicians on the planet, to use music lyrically and compositionally to channel a message of the divine, of the fundamental message of love that connects at the heart of everyone, and so that we collectively sink into a collective realization that all are one, and that peace is really possible. But it's only possible as, it's like many of the great teachers said, love thy neighbor as thyself. It's the loving the self which is the toughest part. It's the shortest distance to our own heart. But it's a very long journey to get there, right? And I really believe if we can get, humanity to begin to ask better questions. When Einstein would come home from school, his mom would never say, did you make good grades? She said, did you ask good questions? And our questions have been really fundamentally focused around why are we different? Why are we better? Why should we be afraid of them? As opposed to what connects us, what unites us? How can we act and live as one? And that creates an entirely different series of results as far as, what can inspire us. Because it's, as Buddha said, all that we are is a result of what we have thought. Emerson said, as a man thinketh in his heart, or King Solomon said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And Emerson says the ancestor of every action is thought. So it all begins with thought. If we can transform our thoughts into being loving and kind thoughts towards ourselves, right? It's going to be easier. If I can see my own divinity, I promise it's going to be easier for me to witness that divinity, in your eyes. And if I see that divinity in your eyes, it's going to be easier for me to recognize that divinity in the eyes of the animals who we're here to be caretakers over. And if I see that divinity in the eyes of the animals, it's going to be easier for me to witness that divinity in the eyes of Mother Earth. Right? And it really begins with the self, and learning self-love. So that's what we're up to, using music as a catalyst, to promote that transformational presence, of being still, so that we know that we're God, so that we know that we're co-creating the world, and can co-create from a conscious way, a loving way, a compassionate way, a way that, is imbued with forgiveness.
And where can people go online to learn more about the work that you're doing and to get involved?
Sure. They can go to ProjectPeaceOnEarth.org. It's ProjectPeaceOnEarth.org.
And would this be the first concert series that you would have been creating?
Well, the first one we did was this past December on Christmas Day in Bethlehem. And the next one we're planning is this coming December, back again in Bethlehem, and again at the Bethlehem Convention Palace. And the idea is that, we'll sync up, we'll have famed, highly aware musicians broadcasting sacred music from various sacred sites. Literally activating sacred sites. There's no coincidence that these sacred sites were built where they were, right? And, the great Sufi master Hazrat Khan in the 14th century said, people say that the soul, on hearing the song of creation, entered the body. But in reality, the soul itself was the song. And he goes on to say, there's no greater way to attain spiritual enlightenment and or awareness than through music, if only the music is rightly understood. So if we have musicians who are co-creating and performing from an intention, if you will, of, Father, Mother, God, let me be the space through which the divine blessing of your grace will touch and transform the heart of humanity. And you give 1 billion people goosebumps and help them to remember their own innate divinity. I promise you, something's going to shift fundamentally. And it begins with that thought in the heart. And that's what music can best do.
Thank you so much for being a part of the Zeitgeist Media Festival, and thank you for being and sharing with us today.
Oh, my honor. Glad to support Peter in any way. Love Peter. Thank you.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Thank you.
Absolutely lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so
that
much.
was beautiful.
Oh,